Stop. Before you move on, before you scroll away, understand this. This moment is not slouchy, and this message is not something you should ignore. There is a reason your attention stopped here, a reason you are hearing these words right now, and a reason something inside you feels like you need to listen. You have been going through your life, handling things the way you always do, focusing on what feels urgent, what feels important, and what demands your attention. But there is something deeper that you have been overlooking, something that has been quietly trying to reach you, something that you have felt but have not fully acknowledged. This is not about fear, this is about awareness. Through Jesus Christ, you were shown that moments like this do not happen without purpose. They happen when you are at a point where something needs to change, where something needs your attention before it goes too far. You may not see it clearly yet, but there have been signs. Small moments where you paused and felt something was not right, thoughts that kept returning even when you tried to ignore them, feelings that you pushed aside because you did not want to deal with them at that time. But ignoring something does not make it disappear. It only delays what eventually needs to be faced. And the longer something is ignored, the more it begins to affect everything around it. You may have noticed it already, things not feeling as clear as before, decisions feeling heavier, your mind feeling more restless than usual. This is not slouchy. This is the result of something being left unaddressed. You have been telling yourself that you will deal with it later, that it is not urgent, that you have time. But time does not always wait the way you expect it to. You do not lose everything in one moment. It happens gradually, through small choices, repeated patterns, and things left unresolved. And by the time it becomes obvious, it is often much harder to change. This is why you are hearing this now. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. Not to pressure you, but to make you aware. You still have time, but not in the way you think. You still have the ability to change direction, but only if you recognize what needs to be changed. You have been given chances before, moments where you knew what you needed to do but chose not to act. Moments where you felt something clearly but decided to ignore it. Moments where you had the opportunity to move differently but stayed in the same pattern. And each time, it felt easier to delay, easier to avoid, easier to say later. But later is not always guaranteed. Later becomes a habit, and that habit becomes your reality. This is the moment where that pattern needs to break. Ask yourself honestly, what is it that you have been ignoring? What is it that keeps coming back into your mind, even when you try to distract yourself? What is it that you feel deep inside but have not taken action on? That is where your attention needs to go. That is what this message is about. Not something outside of you, but something within you that you already know. You do not need someone else to tell you. You have already felt it. You have already thought about it. You have already known, even if you tried to deny it. And the more you ignore it, the more it grows into something that affects your clarity, your decisions, and your direction. This is how things begin to fall apart, not suddenly, but slowly. And in the same way, this is how they can be fixed by choosing to pay attention now, by choosing to face what you have been avoiding, and by choosing to take action while you still can. You do not need to change everything at once. You do not need to have all the answers right now. But you do need to stop ignoring it. You do need to acknowledge it. And you do need to take one step in a different direction. That step does not have to be perfect. It does not have to solve everything immediately. It only needs to be a step forward instead of staying in the same place. Because the moment you choose to face something instead of avoiding it, things begin to shift. Your thoughts become clearer. Your mind becomes calmer. And your direction becomes more stable. You begin to feel a sense of control again, not because everything is perfect, but because you are no longer ignoring what needs your attention. There is something else you need to understand. You are not alone in this moment. You may feel like you are the only one dealing with this, like you have to figure everything out on your own, but that is not true. You have been guided more than you realize. You have been protected in situations you did not fully understand. You have been moved away from things that were not right for you, even when it did not make sense at the time. What felt like rejection was often protection. What felt like delay was often alignment. And what felt like confusion was often preparation. You were not being left behind. You were being positioned. But positioning only matters if you choose to move when the moment comes. And this is that moment. As you continue forward, you will begin to notice that things feel different. Not because everything around you suddenly changes, but because you are no longer ignoring what matters. Your thoughts will feel more focused, your decisions will feel more intentional, and your direction will feel more aligned with what you need. You will begin to let go of things that no longer serve you, not because you are forced to, but because you understand that they are not meant for you anymore. You will begin to move differently, think differently, and act differently. And those small changes will lead to bigger shifts over time. But this only happens if you do not ignore this moment. If you move past this and continue the same patterns, nothing changes. Everything stays the same, and over time, it becomes harder to shift. This is why this message matters. This is why you need to pay attention now, not later, not tomorrow, not when it feels convenient. Now. Because you are at a point where something can still be changed, where something can still be redirected, and where something can still be improved before it goes further than it needs to. So do not ignore this. Do not treat this as something temporary. Take this moment seriously, not with fear, but with awareness. Recognize what needs your attention. Acknowledge what you have been avoiding, and take one step forward, even if it feels small, because that one step is what changes everything. And once you take it, you will begin to see that your life does not have to fall apart. It can be redirected, it can be improved, and it can become something stronger than before. But it starts with you choosing to listen right now.